You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Good morning. Welcome to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM, 312-255-8408. You also catch us on youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. Father Greg Sakowicz, the rector of Holy Name Cathedral, and co-host Mark Teresi, executive director of the cathedral. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, Greg. Very good. We had a wonderful Saturday at Lowe's Hotel for the Solidarity Bridges fundraiser. They serve Bolivia in many different medical missions. It was a great evening. It was a wonderful testament to the fine work.
There were about 250 people present, which was wonderful as we were back together again.
Yes.
And a tremendous amount of money was raised for a great cause. And Solidarity Bridge does phenomenal work for so many years with doctors and nurses and priests and laity serving the poorest of the poor. And it was just a great evening to see a lot of people I had not seen in a long time.
Right. It was inspiring.
It's hard to believe that we are into April now. Baseball starts Thursday. Milwaukee Brewers at Wrigley Field, and the Sox open up Friday in Detroit. And
what did they lose, a week or 10 days?
They lost a week.
Yeah.
They should have started, I think, last Thursday or Friday, so they lost a week. However, in Chicago, it was a blessing. The weather was awful.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It was like 35 or 40 degrees and rain and snow.
I think they're going to get rained out this week if they start Thursday.
I'm not sure the weather forecast is, but it could be. So great program lined up, 312-255-8408 here on Catholic Chicago. And St. Peter's in the Loop is celebrating their 175th anniversary. Father Bob Houtmacher, guardian of St. Peter's in the Loop, joins us for the first segment to talk about the ongoing celebration and to promote Holy Week events at the church. Father Bob Houtmacher, welcome to the program. Bob, how are you?
Good morning. Excellent.
You're all dressed
For Monday,
up.
we got this. Hey, we got the sun out today too.
We do. And Bob, you and I go back. We met at the University of Notre Dame. We were both pursuing a master's in liturgy, and I started in the summer of 80. You were finishing up in 81. And you were ordained a Franciscan in what year?
Pardon me?
You were ordained to the priesthood or Franciscan priest in what year?
Well, I entered the order in 1968, and I was ordained a priest in 79.
That's right. We're ordained together. Now, when's your ordination date?
You're floating in and out, Greg, on volume control here.
You were ordained.
I didn't hear.
You were ordained a priest in what year?
1979.
No. What's your anniversary date?
Oh, I'm sorry, June 2nd.
Okay, I was May 9th. So I'm much older than you by about 3.5 weeks. So I can't believe. Bob, I have to ask you, what is a guardian of St. Peter's? What's a guardian?
I'm the guardian of the Franciscan community here. And that is a canonical title given to us. We're actually chosen by the community to be this. It's actually the superior, but Francis asked to use the term guardian with the image behind being the head of the community as a mother. So I take care of everything. We have 25 in our community here. And that ranges everything from making sure the cars are running to our older guys who need a lot of medical attention and a lot of love and care. Our prayer life, who we are as Franciscan presence in the Loop here at St. Peter's. And of course, we're very excited about this anniversary. there we are.
If our YouTube viewers can see, there's a visual of St. Peter's Church with, I imagine,
Yes.
some of the anniversary activities. What are some of them, Father Bob?
Well, you see right there our gala, which is July 14th at the Union League Club. And we've done that for a number of years, except the past two, because of the plague, we have not been able to do. We did it online, which was unusual and challenging for everyone. But this year we're back in person on July 14th, as you see there, 5:30 to 8:30 at the Union League Club. And that is our major fundraiser for the year. So
Now,
we're very excited to be back.
Father, I remember the image many times downtown, like Ash Wednesday, where the stanchions are up and there's long lines of people coming in. Well, talk to people a little bit about how you, as a Franciscan, see that ministry downtown.
Well, I know from being here for 28 years that our main presence here, of course, sacramentally, is daily masses and our reputation for being great confessors. That is our main ministry here, all the way back to whenever the Franciscans took over in 1875. And the Ash Wednesday thing has diminished, as so has church attendance in the years that I've been here, because I remember the police lines and folks lined up around the block. This year, though, we were back in person on a royal scale. So we did have a lot of people that don't usually show up. And it's this Chicago thing to go to St. Pete's for Ashes, you know. And it's a marvelous thing because it's the one day out of the year you can see what someone else believes. And in the Loop, where everything is, even in a limited way right now, it sells itself in the sense it's perfect advertising. You don't have to do anything. And people see that cross and go to 110 West Madison.
Yeah.
Now, Bob, when everything shut down with COVID-19 back in the middle of March of 2020, how did that affect you personally and St. Peter's?
It was empty completely, and very, very, for myself personally, it was very sad when we went from 1 million people coming down here to work every day to no one. I mean, you could walk at 12:30 in the afternoon and not meet a person in the Loop. And it was like an apocalyptic movie. It was awful. Yeah. And of course, we were shut down completely for a few months. And so that eliminated every bit of income we have. And we have been for 2 years now truly, truly struggling financially. Even now, we're still in that recovery mode like the rest of the world. So instead of 7 masses every weekday, we only have 3. And so that is a very limited income, extremely limited.
You know, along those lines, I remember, Bob, on Easter Sunday morning, 2020, Holy Name Cathedral, the doors were locked. So it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm praying in the cathedral, but it was surreal. What normally would have been between 8 and 10,000 people at Holy Name Cathedral for combined all the masses. I'm sitting in the cathedral by myself, no lights on. I almost cried. You expect thousands of people. It was so sad and hard. Well, thank God we've come out of that, and things are getting better. We pray that this newest variant is not bad.
I judge by the number of restaurants that have reopened down here, and the volume of traffic is a very good indicator that it's coming back, you know.
Slowly. The thing is, now, tell us about Holy Week at St. Peter's coming up. We're Palm Sunday, and the Holy Week begins this coming Sunday. Give us a lowdown of all the events, Bob.
All right, Palm Sunday, we have, the Saturday Vigil Mass at 5 o'clock and Sunday morning, 9 and 11. And of course, palms will be blessed and distributed at each one of those. Holy Thursday, for pastoral reasons, we have 2 celebrations of the Lord's Supper, one at 12:15 and one at 5:15. And the 5:15 always includes, there you have exactly what I have. It includes the washing of feet, of course, and adoration until 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And Good Friday, we open at 7:30 as we do every day now. And we have morning prayer at 8:15 in church, and 2 solemn services of the Passion at 12:15 and 3:15, Stations of the Cross at 5, and then we close at 6 p.m. And the Holy Saturday, our vigil begins at 7 o'clock, which is, we know it's before sundown, canonically speaking, but we don't have windows.
I guess I'll have to report you.
So,
Oh my God, 2 liturgists here and discussing parameters of.
we go through this every year. And then Easter Sunday, we have masses at 9 and 11. So,
Now, could I ask you to add one? Could I ask you to add one thing to this? You have thousands of folks that, like our son works down the street from you. He's still not coming downtown. What about, how can folks that really love St. Peter's when they're downtown, even though they're home, maybe working, how can they financially support you?
This is the amazing thing. People, even though we are hurting financially, we still, during the lockdown and in the last 2 years, we still have been graced and blessed by people and their generosity, even through mail appeals, because we do a Christmas and Easter appeal every year. And somehow we've kept the lights on and the doors open. So people can go to our bulletin or our website, stpetersloop.org, and you can donate online, electronically, of course, or we're open at 7:30 every weekday morning, and you can come in and certainly donate at our front desk any way you want to. As you know, life in the Loop is extraordinarily expensive. And so we're constantly and completely dependent on the goodness of God through other people and their support. And we give you what we can.
Could you spend just a few minutes also? A friend of ours is an associate. I think that's the correct title. She loves St. Peter's in a third order. Would it be third order?
Well, there's a distinction we make. There's secular Franciscans, yes. Mm-hmm. And there also is, we call them affiliates with the order. Mm-hmm. And they're people who have been with us. Well, come on in, boys.
On our YouTube, we're getting a brief tour for our radio listeners.
I don't know who's running this video, but thank you.
That would be Brian and Michael.
So if you are a lay person that wants to affiliate more intimately with the Franciscans at St. Peter's, how do people do that?
Well, you can join the secular Franciscans anytime. Mm-hmm. And that information is always in the bulletin or at the front desk and via the switchboard. Mm-hmm. But to be an affiliate, those are honorary titles given to people who have been long-term supporters, not just financially, but mm-hmm. people who give themselves on a regular basis and in terms of volunteering their time and their expertise in certain areas. That the province, it's not St. Peter's, it's our province. An affiliate means you are part of us, and they have the right to come into our house and share our life in many ways. So it's basically an honorary title.
Now, Bob, the question I would have is, you have been at St. Peter's for 28 years. What are a few of the changes that you have seen over the years? I mean, you've been there a heck of a long time.
You really want to know?
Well, just give us a few.
I think the most significant changes are how we see ourselves as a Franciscan presence in the Loop. And as I said, the parish is 175 years old, and we've been involved with it pastorally and staff-wise since 1875, right after the Great Fire. And so the biggest changes are the difficulties we have now with the dwindling numbers in our order and how many people can be here at St. Peter's to staff. So that determines how much can we offer people in terms of how many daily masses, how many hours for counseling and spiritual direction, how many programs can we have. And the past 2 years have been something the entire world has had to contend with in terms of, I'm just beginning to process and write about the effect of the pandemic and the detrimental effect it's had on us as a people of God, but also our society, and how for example, we're all touch deprived. In the church, some of the great rituals, like drinking from the chalice, we've been deprived of those things, and it has an internal effect on everybody.
Well, the thing along those lines, Bob, and that is the whole sense of church is community. Come together around the table of the Lord, gather for groupings. What did the COVID do? Stay home, go on Zoom.
Yes.
So the exact opposite of what we're about.
Oh, that's me.
Well, there
Who
you are.
took that?
It's beautiful of you. I thought that was a Padre Pio.
Great.
Very
Stop.
Now, in the last, we only have like the last couple of minutes here, Bob, and that is,
Yes.
as you look back. Well, maybe a side question. When you arrived 28 years ago, how many Franciscan priests were in the house, your community, roughly?
Probably 35, because the house is built for 40.
And how many today?
We live above the church. We have 3 stories above the church.
And now you have 25.
Yes, but they're not all ordained. We have a number of brothers that live in our community too.
And also older Franciscans who are no longer able to serve because of their age.
Yeah, or very limited, yes. So I do want to mention before we have to cut off here, another celebration for our 175th. That's on June 3rd and 4th. The Chicago Sinfonietta is coming here. And we're going to do the world premiere, world premiere of my composition for orchestra called The Nature Suite. And it is 16 musical reflections on my life in the Midwest, ranging everything about nature. Is very Franciscan. So the Sinfonietta and I have been working together. This is Friday, June 3rd and Saturday, June 4th, both at 7:30 here in the church. And we expect lots and lots of people just to celebrate this wonderful event and wonderful music. And a friend of mine from Italy is coming to be solo violinist for a Mozart violin concerto too.
Now, is there tickets? Free will offering?
Yes, eventually. I'm just working on that last night. Tickets will be available online through Eventbrite, and we'll notify everybody about this on our website and other social media. And please, you can also buy tickets at the door.
Please do not send Greg a complimentary ticket. He can buy his ticket.
On that beautiful note.
The thing is, it's the one thing I wanted with these concerts is to make it accessible to everybody, especially the many, many, many little people that support us. And it's $25 admission. Greg, you can do that.
I think I was losing you.
Oh.
I think we lost the connection here. On that beautiful note, want to thank Father Bob Houtmacher, guardian of St. Peter's in the Loop, for joining us. Bob, you are an outstanding priest for almost 43 years. God bless you.
Yeah.
You look terrific. Keep up the wonderful work and the work of St. Peter's in the Loop. You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ, 750 AM, 312-255-8408. You can also get us on YouTube.com/Catholic Chicago. Father Greg Sakowicz, Mark Teresi. Stay with us. We'll be back after a few messages. And again, do not touch that dial.
Did you know that Catholic Charities accepts car donations? If you're ready to free up space in your garage and put a stop to all those expenses that go along with owning a car, we will gratefully accept your donation, whether the car is running or not. You choose a pickup time that is convenient for you, and we will make the donation as easy as possible, free of charge. You'll receive a charitable donation receipt as well. We accept all types of vehicles nationwide, and you will know that your donation is made to Catholic Charities, an agency you can trust. To learn more about donating your car, call 877-786-4483. That's 877-786-4483. Thank you.
I feel special. I feel great. I got good grades.
We've seen a huge surge in our kids now meeting or exceeding grade level. Come check us out. You may have never thought we were an option before.
We are hiring. Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of Chicago is looking for mission-driven individuals who want to help make a positive difference in the lives of people in need throughout Cook and Lake counties. Be part of a diverse, talented team of professionals in the largest human services organization in the Midwest. We are dedicated to helping people chart a more stable, happier future for themselves, and we accompany anyone in need, regardless of faith, gender, race, or ethnicity. Competitive salaries and generous benefits add to the satisfaction you'll have every day knowing that you're helping us amplify our impact in Chicago. To see our list of employment opportunities, visit CatholicCharities.net.
Welcome back to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM, 312-255-8408 on this rather kind of a beautiful morning in Chicago. Not bad for April 4th.
No.
And they're talking high about 51 degrees today. And, Mark, we still could get a little snow before the whole thing is over. We've had snow in April before.
Well, how about over the weekend to see that snow coming down?
It was with those giant snowflakes. Wasn't accumulating, but still, it's hard to believe that, Holy Week begins on Sunday. It feels like we just started with Ash Wednesday and now already so close to Holy Week.
And it's so late in April that all of a sudden it's going to be graduations and Holy Communions and summer. Exactly,
and we're going to blink. So we have a tremendous program continuing to line up here at 312-255-8408. Kolbe House is the agency of the Department of Parish Vitality and Mission of the Archdiocese of Chicago that serves individuals and families affected by the criminal justice system. Compelled by the gospel mandate, I was in prison and he visited me. Kolbe House at Assumption BVM, a parish-based jail ministry, is a sanctuary for those impacted by incarceration. We seek to promote restoration and reconciliation through outreach, support, and accompaniment. We follow the example of St. Maximilian Kolbe to love and hope in the midst of evil and despair. On Palm Sunday, the Kolbe House Ministry will be leading a prayer walk around Cook County Jail. Our guests for this next segment, Emily Cortina and Pat Sullivan. Emily and Pat, welcome to the program this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Very good, very good.
Now, this is Emily?
Emily, I'm Pat.
Oh, hello, Pat. Have we lost Emily? Is she with us?
She's right here.
Oh, hello,
hi.
Emily.
Good
How are
morning.
you? Good morning to you.
I just got a little crying in the background. Sorry.
Oh, that's
all
okay.
right.
We thought you went out for a coffee break or something. So now are both of you, Emily and Pat, leading this walk? Are you coordinating the whole thing?
We will both be there. Yeah. So I'm our coordinator of outreach and formation. So I do a lot of events with parishes, and then these kind of public outreach events I'm organizing, but a whole lot of people are collaborating to make the pieces run. And so Pat will be there on Sunday as well.
Well, maybe can one of you give us maybe a short history of Kolbe House, which is sometimes the best kept secret. They do tremendous work in outreach and ministry. So maybe a brief history of Kolbe House here in Chicago.
Can I hand that to you, Pat?
Pat, are you crying?
Yes,
That was
I
Greg
think
crying.
Kolbe House is a big secret. Want people to have more of an awareness with incarceration, which is often a tough subject with people. It's not something that we want to face. Kolbe House has been around for a long time. We service the Cook County Jail with all different kinds of programs, chaplain, visiting them. And we also do re-entry for those in our Illinois correctional facilities that are released. We accompany them, help them get started. We refer them to all kinds of community resources to help them re-enter society. Emily, anything you want to add?
No, I mean, we've been around since the mid 80s. We were started by Father Larry Craig with collaboration with some women religious, a committee of people who really wanted to respond in a concrete way to the realities of incarceration and all the issues that kind of surround that. And so this was an initiative started under Cardinal Bernardin in the 80s, and we're coming up on a big anniversary here too. So that's a little bit of what we do in our history.
Emily, I need to ask you this, and that is, how did you get involved with Kolbe House? I mean, there's so many things you could be doing with your life. Besides, I think I hear a child in the background, and you could be doing so many things. How did you get involved in this tremendous and very important ministry?
Oh, that's a long story, but we'll cut it short. As any vocation, vocational journey has its twists and turns. But I studied at Catholic Theological Union, and while I was studying there, I ended up meeting my now husband, and he had a previous experience of incarceration, and we were both kind of drawn to minister in that way. And so I started with Precious Blood Ministries in juvenile detention, visiting the youth there, and then we joined Assumption Church, where Kolbe House was housed, which has now been renewed with another parish. And so we just kind of drew close to the ministry, and the cards just kind of fell in place for me to join the staff at Kolbe House.
And that was back in what year?
This was 4.5 years ago that I came to Kolbe House.
And how about your story, Pat?
I was also at the Catholic Theological Union, and I wanted to do my internship with Kolbe House, but because I was working full time and didn't have a 9-to-5 job, I ended up with Old St. Patrick working in the North Lawndale community. And so many of the things that I did on that internship, it just ties right in with Kolbe House and, the experience of people being incarcerated in the past and trying to get jobs, and the transportation issues, the daycare issues. So anyways, when I finished getting my degree recently, I hooked up with Kolbe House, and it's been truly a growing experience for me, a transformation.
Now, Pat, how has Kolbe House touched your life?
It has just given me such a different view. Learning to listen to others. It's so enlightening to what other people, what their backgrounds were, things that have happened and what they're trying to do to start a new chapter in their lives, to give them a chance to help them do this.
Now, here's a little bit of history that you may or may not know, and then I'm going to form it into a question. Many years back, in fact, when Larry Craig was starting Kolbe House, he went to Father Jim Close at Mercy Home. And Mercy Home funded him to begin the solicitation program, the direct marketing program, to fund the ministry, because there was no money for the ministry. I'm not sure how Mercy's involved right now, but I would ask, because I'm pretty practical, Jim Close always said, can't do the ministry without the money. How can people support Kolbe House? But, I mean, I understand they can enter into the mission personally, but what if they can't, but they want to really support this wonderful work?
Well, I think you gave them the idea right there, talking about our funding. I mean, Kolbe House is funded in majority by individual donors. And so being a part of that community of donors who invest in this work, and that can be with financial donations, that can be with material donations. On our website, we also have a list of donations that we accept. There are a lot of ways to get involved also personally as a volunteer in direct ministry or in these kind of events that we have that we'll be talking about through your parish. As a ministry of the Archdiocese, we also, one of our priorities is to build local relationships with parishes. And so even through your local parish, we can build a collaboration, or there might already be one in existence.
Now, Emily, how can they make a direct donation? Give us the web, or how can they do this?
Yeah, so on our website, on our Archdiocesan website, which is, you can also type kolbehouseministry.org, and that will take you to our website. There's a little button that says Donate to Kolbe House. It's a PayPal link, so you can donate online. You can also mail your donations to us, and at our address at 2434 South California Avenue.
So again, Kolbe would be KOLBE, kolbehouse.org.
kolbehouseministry.org will take you to the page that some folks can see on there.
And give us that address one more time, 2434
South California Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60608.
Now tell us about this big upcoming event you have planned for Kolbe House.
Well, we're really excited to be able to invite all of you to a Palm Sunday prayer walk next Sunday afternoon, 3:00 in the afternoon. We'll gather behind Cook County Jail on Sacramento Avenue. If you haven't been to Cook County Jail before, it's an experience really unlike any other. Cook County Jail is a huge, sprawling complex, and it's very intimidating and very kind of what you might imagine a jail to feel like when you're there. And so we're trying to bring a spirit of prayer. We're walking in the, tying to the scripture of Palm Sunday as the folks are greeting Jesus and yelling out Hosanna, which means save us, right? And so we're just joining our prayer to the men and women who are detained here. We'll be walking around. It's about a 2-mile walk, so definitely wear your walking shoes. But I would say whether you're from the neighborhood and you grew up there and you know this area intimately, or this would be your first time into the neighborhood, it's a time that we can all really join together in prayer.
Now, rain, snow, or sun, you're walking, correct?
Well, the forecast has been for sun and 60 degrees, so I think it's going to be a beautiful day. Yes.
Okay, we'll take that.
Now,
yeah.
I'm a parishioner, and I'm thinking about it, and I wonder, is it a safe area for me to go? I mean, how would you answer someone like that with that question?
It's a hard question to ask, and certainly I understand discomfort of going into neighborhoods that some folks maybe only see on the news for the bad things that happen there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, think about all of us who live here in these neighborhoods. We walk around with our kids. Our volunteers walk to the jail when they volunteer. Kolbe
Mm-hmm.
House is just 2 blocks from the jail. They walk there every day for ministry. Things can happen no matter where you live, and that's always a risk that we take when we're out
Right.
and about, right? But I think it can be healthy for us to get outside our comfort zone and start to put some other images on neighborhoods that we might not be familiar with, and create a positive experience to go with that.
Now, the question for you or for Pat, have either one of you actually been involved within the ministry for visiting those who are detained at Cook County and talking to them, because I think sometimes we forget. We hear about someone who was, quote, locked up in jail. We forget each one of those men and women have a story, of which many are horrific, tough backgrounds that we can't even begin to fathom or comprehend. Am I correct?
You are absolutely correct. I'm in the men's Division 10 maximum security. Many of us that go into the women's side, these people are supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, and their lives are put on hold. I recently had in my scripture class, 3 men that were in there from 2018. They just recently settled their cases, and one of them was cleared. He spent all that time in jail. So it's really, and sometimes we get together and they share their feelings about things. And that's what transforms me, is listening to them, their stories, that they're so willing to share with each other.
So, Pat, you're saying to me that you dealt with a gentleman who spent 4 years in Cook County detained until his case was cleared, and he was innocent.
He went home. He was released.
And that's not. I'm sure that's not an isolated story.
But I'm talking about 4 years of your life on hold for an innocent man who did nothing. That's incredible.
But thank God you folks are there to bring some hope. Now, I'm in a parish and I'm thinking about it. How do I take a first step toward looking at this ministry and discerning, is this what God's calling me to at this point in my life?
I first started out with reentry, meeting, people call that need help that were recently released. That's a good way. Letter writing is an excellent way to touch base with some of our men that are not only at Cook County Jail, but our correctional facilities. Mm-hmm. One man that was in for 33 years, and that letter writing towards the end saved him, because he said, I felt like a grave in a cemetery. Once in a while, I would get a letter. Maybe 7 years had gone by.
Oh, wow.
You feel totally isolated from the world, forgotten about.
Yeah.
You are. Maybe one more time, Emily, give us the website that people can make a generous donation for the great work you're doing at Kolbe House.
Yeah, our website is kolbehouseministry.org. Kolbe is Kolbe. And I will say on the same website, there's a page called Join Our Mission, and there's a link there to a volunteer interest form if you'd like to take that first step and explore what it would look like. Fill out this form, and our volunteer coordinator would be in touch with you to have a conversation and just discern kind of how you might want to get involved. It happens all the time where someone will express interest and just say, I just sort of feel drawn to this. This just kind of piques my interest, and I don't know what that might look like, and I don't know what I can offer, but it draws my attention.
But now, is there a phone number they can call?
Yes.
A main office?
773-247-0070.
That number one more time.
Also email. They can email info@kolbehouseministry.org.
And that phone number one more time?
773-247-0070.
I want to thank in a very special way Emily Cortina and Pat Sullivan from Kolbe House Ministry. The big Palm Sunday prayer walk around Cook County Jail, beginning at 3 p.m. this Sunday. Palm Sunday, expected to be sunny and 60. Join in. So thank you very much, Emily and Pat, for joining us on the program this morning. You were both outstanding. God bless the both of you in this very important ministry for the people of God. Father Greg Sakowicz, Mark Tracy here on Catholic Chicago, WNDZ 750 AM. Be back in a few minutes. And again, do not touch that dial.
At Catholic Charities, we fight hunger in Chicago throughout the year. Our 6 regional offices in Cook and Lake counties work together to offer sit-down and to-go meals to anyone in need. We deliver meals to those who are homebound, and our 8 food pantries offer 3 to 4 days of food supplies based on household size. Participants in these programs have the opportunity to learn about other Catholic charity services that strengthen individuals, families, and their communities. The challenges for those dealing with food insecurity are especially great during the winter months. To learn how you can help those who are hungry in your neighborhood, visit CatholicCharities.net or call 312-655-7525. That's 312-655-7525. Thank you for your generosity.
I am a seminarian.
The church needs compassionate and well-trained priests to help guide each of us through life.
What inspires me, what draws me always to the priesthood is continue to see priests be a beacon of hope for other people.
You can play a part in the education of these young men as they prepare for a life of service to others.
I want to be that beacon of hope too, and it sets my heart on fire.
To support our seminarians, make your gift at archchicago.org/seminarian fund or call 312-534-7959.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Welcome back to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ 750 AM, 312-255-8408. You can also get us on youtube.com/Catholic Chicago on this beautiful Monday morning in Chicago, temperature going up to about 51. Mark, that was a great segment with Emily and with Pat regarding Kolbe House.
What tremendous commitments they have to that ministry.
Phenomenal.
They will draw people to the ministry.
Exactly. We have a third segment, wonderful, lined up for our program this morning. Mustard Seeds is a small, faith-based community at Holy Name Cathedral. Joining us for this last segment of today's program to discuss the value of small Catholic Christian faith communities are 3 members of Mustard Seeds, Luann Burkhardt, Sue Kovacs, and Christine Lawless. Luann, Sue, and Christine, all welcome to the program this morning. How are you?
Hi, thank you, Father.
Doing great, Greg. How are you?
Doing very fine, thank you. I know you all well from the cathedral. And Christine, I need to ask you this first, since I know the ministry so well, is how did this Mustard Seeds ministry or small base community begin, and why?
Thank you so much, by the way, for having us today. We really appreciate it, being able to talk about Mustard Seeds. So it started for me 5 years ago, and it was actually the faith formation director at Holy Name that was looking for some facilitators to start small groups. And I think there were about 7 that started. I really sunk everything I had into this ministry because I believe that charity begins at home, and that means making yourself the strongest that you can be in Christ and developing the best relationship you can have with Him. So that's how it started for me. And now here we are 5 years later, and we started small, but we've grown to 12 people. I like to keep it at 12. I think of us as being like the apostles. So that's my story.
Now, how about for you, Sue? What got you involved in this with what used to be called Media Sisters, is now called Mustard Seeds. So, Sue, how did you get involved and why? Good morning, Sue.
So I was invited to join by one of the members and came to the first meeting a little anxious, but was so welcomed and so impressed by the commitment of the group, the way that they prepared for the session, and really their commitment to grow not only in faith and love. So I was hooked on session one and have been with the group ever since.
And now, Luann, your story.
Well, my story is a little different in that I've only been a member for about 3.5 years, but I've been a member of Holy Name Cathedral since 1980. Oh, wow. But I retired from the American Academy of Art from teaching for 39 years. And so 4 years ago, I decided I wanted to explore church stewardship. And Father Greg, you had questions at that time for 30 plus year parishioners that caused me to answer the calling of this group. And so I am just so blessed to be a part of this group. And I've been ever since. And it's been it's meaningful in so many ways I can't even tell you.
You know, Luann, it's very interesting because I remember when I first arrived back in July of 16, it was around 17 or 18, I gathered folks who've been in the parish more than 30 years with a set base of questions. Didn't realize that those questions really touched your life and got you involved with Mustard Seeds. I mean, I'm really enjoying this conversation. Christine, when Ken Ortega invited groups to begin back about 5 years ago, and you said yes, and all of a sudden the group started to get formed. What has kept you in the group? What energizes you?
Well, I'm a cradle Catholic, and I think I had the old Baltimore Catechism, which surprisingly, when I look back, it was really spot on in terms of theology. But as I became an adult, I began to have adult questions about my faith. And I really dove into it like 30 years ago. I got a spiritual director, and I've really been growing ever since to understand the faith at an adult level. And so I try to bring this to the ministry. I look at it, I'm a doctor, I look at this as very much like medical school, that we as Catholics need to study our faith with the rigor that a medical student approaches medicine. And that's kind of my philosophy. And we've studied all kinds of things. I know you're familiar because you've walked into some of our meetings.
In fact, at one point, Mark, the group was going through the catechism. The
Baltimore catechism?
No, not the Baltimore, the new catechism,
the new catechism
in our Catholic faith. And the darn thing is pretty thick. And they're going through it. And I said, this is quite impressive.
What did they teach you?
Now, how about for you, Sue? And with Christine sharing her story on why she started and sustained her and kept her going. How about for you? Are you there with us, Sue?
Yeah, she is.
What has sustained you? How does this group energize you?
So one of the things that has really helped me is that each of us volunteers to facilitate a session. And so in preparing for these sessions, the in-depth study, it just takes you to a new level. And what we try to do is we prepare questions and alternate resources for the group to study prior to the session. And so I'm amazed at how much I learn at each session, not only from the text that we're studying, but from one another's experiences. And we always give each other nuggets of wisdom or things to follow up with. And so our search continues even when we're not together as a group.
That's very interesting. And Luann?
Yeah. I wanted to ask Luann, as you share, you talked about teaching art, and maybe can you tie that into how this involvement really has almost expanded that world for you?
Oh, it has, definitely. And in fact, what has occurred is, well, first of all, we've stayed together as a group, and we haven't missed sessions, and nor our Bible studies. Even if we can't be there in person, we continue with the sessions on the books of the saints, the arts, the readings. And so we have grown in our hearts and in our minds and in the beauty of it. And it's made us all more aware of the growth that we share together. So we've taken small gatherings together and journeys, but we've also been able to have the Art Institute Museum of Chicago allow us to have public tours in the museum in connection with the beauty and inspiration of the Christian art that's there.
Beautiful.
And so we've had 2 tours, one on the sorrowful mysteries and one on the glorious mysteries. And we've all worked together very closely in order to bring about a very successful tour for each of these events. And that has just expanded what, when I was teaching, I would give tours to my students over in the museum. But I see this now from another, it was spiritual then, but this is just so much more spiritual. And
that's wonderful.
Just to be able to be there in the public, to do this. So it's been very exciting.
Beautiful. Now, I was just going to ask, maybe we could, Christine first, and maybe it's too intimate a question, but who is this Jesus now that you know, that you've learned about over these years?
You know what? Jesus he's so vast as a person that I'm kind of awestruck by how many things he is. Jesus, when I started as a cradle Catholic, as a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, I knew that, first of all, I loved confession. I found Jesus there. The second thing is I loved Mass. I believed something was going on the altar and we were consuming Jesus. And then as an adult, I started hanging out with some Protestants, and they were talking. they were talking about the personal relationship with Jesus, and I said, I already have that through my sacraments. And they're like, no, you got to read the Bible and develop your own conversation with him. And so I did all that, and then the latest thing that we've been studying that brought me to a totally different level is a book by John Bergsma. And he's a theologian. He's a convert from Dutch Calvinists to Catholicism. And he's on EWTN, and he's a partner with Scott Hahn. But anyway, he had a chapter on the priesthood. His book, by the way, is called Stunned by Scripture: How the Bible Made Me Catholic. And he goes through every argument that a Protestant might have about being a Catholic. And in other words, that the Bible doesn't support it. Well, he says the opposite. And I think for this year, I am seeing what Jesus did at the Last Supper completely different than I've ever seen it. I'm a singer, and I've been singing it for 40 years. What happens, the washing of the feet and everything. And I am seeing that ultimate act of service at the Last Supper and creating the Eucharist. It's so different for me now. It's giving me goosebumps, actually. It is so different. And I'll just stop right there. Jesus
Christine,
is more than I ever thought.
Let me share this. First of all, Christine, thank you very much for that powerful sharing.
Beautiful.
But here's what I find. When you are part of a small base community, small faith-based community, which you call your group, the 12, the mustard seeds, I find that that grouping isn't unto itself, but then connects back to the larger group Sunday around the table of the Lord. But all that you do within Mustard Seeds, the sharing, the praying, to be nourished, it then spills out into your workplace, at home, and around the table of the Lord, because I really find the future of Catholicism might be around small-based communities, and then that sharing and a small group you bring back to the table of the Lord on a Saturday or Sunday, in our case at the cathedral, but then also it's how it affects what you do at home and work. So maybe a question for either Luann or for Sue is, how has Mustard Seeds touched your own personal life as you reach out to others? How about for you, Sue?
I can just say that we're all part of a whole that inspires and loves and supports and grows in wisdom of Christ's light in the world. And we experience this value every time we meet as a group, and then in our daily lives as we go into our own lives outside. And in nature, tiny plants that are nurtured in the soil as we are in the soil of our own lives. This group has nurtured every time we meet, and it's particularly sustained us in this last year. And so I think of us as being almost like a whole flower that just springs forth. And the thing is that the mustard seed, the story of the mustard seed is one in which it starts out like just a weed almost. And the weed is unstoppable. And it's like a weed that's either here in Illinois, it would be like this mustard, this weed that I have around my neck here that is it's one that is the little yellow plant that we can't stamp out, but Christ's love is unstoppable. And weeds are unstoppable as well, like even the tumbleweed. So with all of that, our lives, if we are in Christ's love and faith, that is going to be unstoppable within our own lives and with those of others. We'll see that.
I really like that. That's good. We need to bring it to a close here. Great image there, Luann. I want to thank in a very special way Luann Burkhart, Sue Kovacs, and Christine Lawless, part of Mustard Seeds, which is a small faith-based community at Ohio Cathedral. Thank you for that profound sharing, all of you. God bless you. You're so involved in the Cathedral for many more years to come. Thank you also to co-host Mark Teresi, our producers, engineers, Michael May and Brian Hockey Hitman Brock. Thanks for a great job, gentlemen. To our listeners, may God bless you. As we slowly enter into Holy Week next week, God bless, one day at a time.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.